Hey guys, welcome to Online Yoga and Wellness. This is week 2 of our 5-week challenge to increasing self-awareness. Today's practice, we are going to spend a little bit of time in reflecting about where we feel safe in certain areas or certain locations, and also where we feel at home. So there were journal prompts that were originally sent out with this 5-week challenge. So those were weekly journal prompts whereby we would reflect on the past week and then repeat those each week to see what changed or what came up for us in each week, because we grow and we change and evolve. So it's important to sit and reflect not only on a weekly or daily level, but also through different stages of our lives. Today, what I'll get you to do on your mat is to lie down. So lying on your back, you can keep the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall out to the left and right side in reclined angle. Or you can walk the legs out until they're straight. If you have a sore lower back, what I'll get you to do is keep your knees bent with your feet on the mat. So I'll show you for an example. So first option was to lay down, taking the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the left and the right. Second option was to walk the legs out straight. Third option, if you've got a tight lower back, you can walk the feet out to the left and right edge and allow the knees to roll into the middle. You can take your hands out to the left and right side and just find a comfortable position. So as you're laying there, taking in a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling the body as it starts to settle. Noticing what's on your mind today. You can use the out breath as a visualization to, as you exhale, breathing out that thought. And then imagining a clean slate, a clear mind, allowing the body to drop, to release any tension. So we're going to start to observe the body, observing the sensations, the temperature. Starting to notice if you're holding any tension in the shoulders, in the hips, noticing the spine, traveling your awareness from the base of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Allowing your mind to be really present in this moment. So as we're resting there, if your eyes aren't closed, gently closing them. And what I'd like you to do is visualize the space around you. If you're inside, visualizing the 4 walls, the flooring, the carpet and the ceiling. Visualizing yourself lying on the mat. And just observing the body, observing the breath. Engaging your senses, noticing what you can hear. And now I would like you to think of your favorite nature spot. So a space where you feel at home, a space where you feel safe and secure. So this might be at the beach, in a forest or in a valley. I'd like you now to visualize that space and visualize yourself lying on the ground, in the grass or in the sand. Starting to bring to mind what about this space makes you feel at home, what makes you feel comfortable. Is it the sounds that you can hear, the fresh breeze? Visualizing yourself lying in this space, feeling comforted, feeling at home. Really reflecting and becoming aware of why you've gone to this space in particular. And then lying on your mat, if your knees aren't, I'll get you to walk your feet onto the mat, bending through the knees. We're gently going to take the knees out to the left and right and gently move the knees up and down, just opening through the hips. And then allowing them to rest and hold. Making sure the belly button's tucked towards the spine, shoulder blades are down the back. Slowly drawing the knees back together and then drawing the knees into your chest, placing the hands on your knees, circling the knees, releasing through the lower back. And now back in the opposite direction. And back to center, rotating the ankles, big circles. And back in the opposite direction. Taking both hands onto the left knee, interlacing the fingers, drawing the knee in close to the chest. Extending the right leg, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. We're going to slowly lower the right leg down towards the mat, hovering it above the mat, and then lifting it back up towards the ceiling. Repeating this 2 more times. Nice and controlled, engaging the core. And then slowly bending through the right knee, taking both hands onto the right knee, drawing it into the chest, extending the left leg, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. We're going to slowly lower the left leg down, hovering it above the mat, and then inhaling back up to the ceiling. Lowering down, inhaling up. 1 more time. And then bending through the knee, placing both hands on the knees. We're going to slowly rock back and forth until we come up to a seated position. When you come up, see if you can find your balance. And then placing both feet down onto the mat. Coming back to the center of the mat, we're going to extend both legs out in front, bending and straightening through the knees and through the ankles, sitting up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Drawing both toes back towards you, we're going to inhale the hands up to the ceiling, reaching up nice and tall, and exhale, folding forward, reaching for the toes. If you can't reach the toes, just holding the shins, slowly walking the hands towards the ankles. Taking a couple deep breaths here, stretching through the posterior chain, deepening the stretch with each out breath. And then inhaling the hands back up to the ceiling, opening through the chest and taking them out by your sides. Crossing the ankles, coming over onto the hands and knees. Finding tabletop. So as we went through last week, this is one of our foundational poses. So here we're going to be doing 8 breaths of cat-cow. So as you breathe in, dropping the belly button down to the mat, lifting up through the crown of the head. Breathing in. As you exhale, drawing the belly button to the spine, dropping the head, tucking the tailbone. And breathing in. So following your own breath here, and start to explore the body. So as you breathe in and breathe out, you might like to shift forward and back, distributing the weight from the hands to the knees. You might like to move side to side. Just starting to explore the shoulders, the hips, the spine. Exploring the sensations of the body. Noticing if there's any tension in the neck or in the shoulders. Two more breaths here. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Taking the right foot and stepping it to the outside of the right hand. Gently moving forwards and backwards, pushing the hips forward, opening through the hip. Dropping forward, making sure that the right knee doesn't go over the right toe. Tucking the left toes, lift the left knee. We're going to slowly step the left foot forward into a forward fold. Allowing the upper body to hang here. If the hamstrings are tight, keeping the knees bent. Allowing the crown of the head to drop down towards the mat. Taking a deep breath in as you lift halfway. Keeping a straight spine, hands can go on the front of the shins. Exhale, folding forward. And then we're going to step into the feet, lift the hands up to the ceiling, reaching slightly back, and then exhale, folding forward. Stepping the right foot back, stepping the left foot back into plank. We option to drop to the knees here. We're going to bend through the elbows to the bottom of the push-up. If you need to, you can drop the chest down to the mat. And then pressing into the palms as you lift up into cobra. So this is our first back bend. If you need to here, you can keep the elbows slightly bent. And then we're going to lift back up into tabletop. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Here we're going to gently circle the hips by sitting back towards the heels, taking the hips to the left, forward, to the right, and then back over the heels. So nice big circles. Noticing the wrists and the hands as you start to bear weight. And then back in the opposite direction. And then coming back up to tabletop. Stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Gently moving the hips forward and back as you press the hips forward. Going a little deeper each time and then holding here. Making sure the knee doesn't go over the toes. Tucking the right toes, lift the right knee off the mat, stepping the right foot forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale the hands up to the ceiling, slightly back. And then exhale, folding forward, reaching the hands back down to the mat. Stepping the left foot back, stepping the right foot back into plank. Option to drop to the knees, bending through the elbows, and then inhale, cobra. So straightening a little more through the arms here, arching through the back. And then we're going to sit back into child's pose. So as you sit back, walking the knees out to the left and right edges of the mat, joining the big toes together. Gently swaying the upper body left and right as you settle down towards the mat. Dropping the belly between the hips, taking a few deep breaths in. Connecting the forehead with the mat. Spreading the fingertips nice and wide, feeling the texture beneath the hands. Taking a moment to go back to your safe space, to your favorite nature spot. Drawing on those feelings of safety, security, grounding. Bringing them to the mat for your practice today. And then slowly inhaling back up to tabletop, drawing the knees in, hip width apart. Walking the hands back as you sit down onto the heels. Turning to face the long angle of the mat. We're going to take the right foot out to the right side, turning the foot to a 45-degree angle, distributing the weight over the left leg. So here we're going to be bending into the right leg. You have the option here to place the hands down on the mat, or you can join the hands together as we bend, sinking down onto that right heel, stretching through the inside of the leg. Taking a breath here, and then we're slowly going to press up and sink back down again. So we're going to stretch, push that right elbow into the knee, pushing it out to the right side, also stretching through the left leg. Lifting up, one more time. And then lifting back up to center, drawing the right knee back underneath the body. Extending the left leg out to the left side, taking the foot onto a 45-degree angle, slight bend in the left knee. So hands together or out in front. We're going to slowly bend, sinking into that hip, into a half squat. Taking a breath, using the elbow to push the hip out to the side. And then slowly inhaling up. Again, sinking down. And inhaling up. One more time, sinking down. Taking a breath here, keeping the back up nice and straight. And inhaling up to center, drawing the left knee in beneath the body. Turning to face the short angle of the mat, coming back into tabletop. Tucking the toes, we're going to lift the hips up to the ceiling, keeping the knees slightly bent if the hamstrings are tight, pressing the head between the shoulders, pressing evenly into the palms. Bending through the knees, we're going to hover them above the mat, straighten through the legs, sink down into the heels. Again, hovering them above the mat, straightening, sinking down into the heels. One more time. Stretching through the calves, through the hamstrings. Taking the right foot, stepping it to the outside of the right hand. Pressing the hips forward. So option here to drop the left knee down to the mat, or you can leave it up. We're going to inhale the hands up to the ceiling, leaning slightly back into a high lunge. And then exhale, folding forward. Stepping the left foot forward. Here we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling the hands up and over the head, slightly back. Placing the palms together and lowering them down to the heart center. Releasing the hands, taking a moment here to find mountain pose. So mountain pose, feet are hip width apart. Adjust any clothing if you need to as well. Tucking the tailbone, rib cage down, taking up your space. Grounding through the feet, spreading the toes nice and wide, feeling balanced, feeling secure in your body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you like, you can close your eyes here. Noticing what it feels like to be in your body. Noticing what it feels like to balance. Scanning the body as all the muscles work together to keep you upright. Something that comes so naturally, that we learn when we're young. Taking the palms together at the heart center. We're going to take the feet out slightly wider than hip width, turning the feet out onto a 45-degree angle, and we're going to sink down into a deep squat. So keeping the heels down here. If you struggle keeping the heels down, you can roll up a blanket, placing the blanket underneath the heels just to give them a little bit more elevation. We're going to release the hands, placing the hands on the mat, straightening through both legs, walking the feet into a forward fold. Stepping the right foot back, stepping the left foot back into plank. Option to drop to the knees, bending through the elbows. Inhale, cobra. Tucking the toes, lift the hips up to the ceiling into downward dog. Pressing into the palms, straightening through the legs, taking the belly towards the thighs. Here we're going to bend through the knees, hovering them above the mat, then straighten through the legs, sinking down into the heels. Again, bending through the knees, straightening through the legs, sinking back. One more time. And then stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Pressing the hips forward. Option here to drop the right knee down to the mat, or you can keep it elevated. Inhaling the hands up and over the head into a high lunge, and then arching slightly back. And then lowering the hands back down to the mat, stepping the right foot forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling the hands up and over the head, slightly back. Placing the palms together and lowering them down to the heart center. Releasing the hands, finding mountain pose again. Each time you enter mountain pose, it's easier to find. Again, you can close the eyes, noticing what it feels like to stand, noticing your aura, noticing your energy field. Feeling the body, coming back to the emotions of being safe, secure, grounded. Placing the hands together at the heart center, taking the feet out slightly wider than hip width, toes on a 45-degree angle. And now we're going to sink down into the deep squat again, lifting up through the spine, using the elbows to push the knees away. Releasing the hands, taking them back down to the mat, straightening through the legs, drawing the feet back in, hip width apart. Stepping the right foot back, left foot back into plank. Option to drop to the knees, bending through the elbows, inhaling cobra. And then we're going to sit back into child's pose, taking the knees out as wide as the mat, moving the upper body left and right as it settles down between the hips. Connecting the forehead with the mat, spreading the fingertips nice and wide, feeling the mat beneath the hands. Taking another deep breath here. And then on your next in-breath, slowly returning to tabletop, drawing the knees back in, hip width apart. Walking the hands back towards the knees until you're sitting on the heels. We're then going to come up to a kneeling position. Allowing the arms to hang from the shoulders, we're just going to inhale them up once and allow them to drop. We're then going to take the left hand to the front of the room, circling it up to the ceiling and then to the back of the room. and down by your side. Repeating with the right hand. Big circles. And the left. Opening up through the chest, slight twist in the spine. One more on each side. And then on your next rotation, we're going to take the left hand, placing it on our lower back, repeating with the right, and then returning the upper body to center, drawing the elbows in nice and close together, pushing the hips forward here. So you can rest here, or you can tuck the toes, reach the hands down to the heels, pushing the hips forward here in camel pose. You can also drop the head back. Slowly reaching up to the lower back and then lifting up to center. Sitting back onto the heels, we're going to tuck the feet to one side and sit back on our sit bones. Finding the center of the mat, keeping the knees slightly bent, we're going to roll down the spine. Inhale the hands up and over the head, straightening through the legs. Feeling a straight line between the fingertips and toes, tucking the belly button towards the spine. And then lowering the hands back down by your sides. Tucking the shoulder blades down the back, bending through the knees and walking the feet onto the mat. Walking the feet out to the left and right edges of the mat and gently swaying the knees from left to right. Breathing in as you take them one direction and breathing out as you return. Dropping both of the knees to the left and holding. You can have the palms face down for grounding, or you can face them up to the ceiling for receiving. Gently lifting the knees back to center and to the right. Taking a breath here. And returning the knees back to center. Walking the feet in hip width apart. Taking the left ankle onto the right knee. We're going to drop the legs to the right. Trying to take that left knee all the way down towards the floor, taking the left hand out like an anchor. Turning to face the left hand. Taking in a few breaths here. You'll notice the restriction in the rib cage and in the lungs with the twist, not being able to breathe down into the belly. Just observing the body here. And then inhaling the knees and the head back to center. Placing the left foot down onto the mat. Taking the right ankle onto the left knee and dropping the knees to the left. Taking that right knee down towards the ground, taking the right hand out like an anchor. Looking towards the right hand.
Slowly inhaling the knees and the head back to center, placing the right foot down onto the mat. Drawing the knees into the chest, placing the hands on the knees, pulling them in nice and close. We're going to reach our hands between the knees, taking hold of the feet and taking the soles of the feet up to the ceiling, keeping the head and shoulders down on the mat. If you can't reach the feet, if the hips are tight, just taking hold of the ankles here, but keeping the soles of the feet up to the ceiling. Gently swaying from left to right in Happy Baby. And then returning back to center, releasing the feet, placing them down on the mat. We're going to find a comfortable position for Shavasana now. You do have the option to place the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall out to the left and the right. You can cross the ankles, sitting in a cross-legged position as you're reclined. You can walk the feet out in front, or if the lower back is tight, keeping the knees bent with the feet on the mat, rolling the knees in towards one another. Taking in a few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking a moment to become aware of the body, aware of your surroundings. And then visualizing your favorite spot again. As you lay there, feeling anchored by the hips, by the sit bone, to the mat, to the ground. Feeling anchored to the earth. Anchored by your root chakra, your energy center located at the base of the spine. The root chakra is represented by the color red. It is bright and glowing, and the energy swirls. Taking in a few deep breaths, breathing down into the belly. Reflecting again on what makes you feel safe and secure, on what makes you feel grounded. Taking a moment to reflect on other areas of your life where you feel these same emotions. Different locations, different people, different activities. Noticing where you feel at home. Taking a moment to soak all of that into the core. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you do, slowly drawing your awareness back to your body, back to the space that you're in, and back to your mat. Wiggling the toes and wiggling the fingers. Again, feeling the sensations within your body. Bending through the knees and walking the feet onto the mat. Gently swaying the knees and the head from left to right. Rolling onto your favorite side. Allowing the head and the heart to rest here for a moment. Feeling the body as it resettles. And then slowly coming up to a seated position. Taking your time. Folding your legs in front, resting your hands on your knees. You can keep your eyes closed or you can start to open them, keeping a soft gaze. Rolling the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Repeating this 2 more times. Taking the hands together at the heart center. And taking a moment to lock in that feeling of safety and the feeling of being secure. Drawing that awareness to the spaces, the people and activities. And thank you for joining me on the mat today. Namaste. I hope you're all feeling wonderful right now. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Monday. There'll be another online yoga class Wednesday at 12:30, running for 45 minutes. I have sent out a link to Linktree, which has all of the classes in it. So we'll no longer be sending out emails for the links to this Zoom meeting. So it'll be the same meeting ID and password for all of the online yoga classes, and then all of the classes will be stored under that Linktree profile as well. So making sure to check there for all of the new classes as they get uploaded. If you have any feedback or any comments, I would love to hear from you all, and thank you for joining me today.